Speaking of which, as you make that comment about setting yourself up for a big career in February and March, that's exactly what 10 Buckeyes, former Buckeyes, are trying to do here in a few weeks at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, where you take one of the, you would have to say, the most prolific passing attack in the history of Ohio State football, and you take three of the key components at the wide receiver core with Terry McLaurin, Johnny Dixon, and Parris Campbell. Of course, Dwayne Haskins, he had 50 touchdown passes, and you remove them from the Ohio State offense, and we'll see how they perform, at least in shorts, in Indianapolis.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll be out there in Indianapolis next week. The Combine basically stretches from February the 26th until about March 4th. We will have 4 days of interview sessions, February 27, 28, and then March 1st and 2nd, I believe, are those dates. I think maybe the 28th to the 3rd. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. But basically, we interview a couple of position groups every day. After those guys have weighed in, gotten some of their physical taken care of, you get a chance to talk to them. But we talk to them before they go through the workout phase with the 40-yard time and the reps on the bench press and the high jump and the cone drills and everything else, and the on-field work that they will do for scouts as well as the interview phase with a lot of these NFL teams. So, as I say, look for those interviews next week on our site, bucknuts.com. We're going to try and get all 10 of the Buckeyes at the Combine. But just ticking them off, you look at Dwayne Haskins, a lot of people are projecting him to go number 6 overall to the New York Giants on the basis of one phenomenal season where he threw 50 touchdown passes. Is he the savior to go in there behind Eli Manning and lift that team? I think they were 5-11 this past year, to lift them back up to contention in the NFC East. If you play well, New York's a great place to be. If you go in there and you struggle, it's not a great place to be because of the media attention and everything else. I think Dwayne's got a good head on his shoulders. So if that's how it turns out for him, he just needs to go to Indianapolis and show what he's capable of doing, throwing that football and hitting receivers in stride. And I think that he'll maintain that spot. Nick Bosa, the defensive end, his season ended after the third game with a core muscle injury. His big thing is going to be showing that he's healthy. Everybody's got him projecting going number 1 overall to the Arizona Cardinals, which is Cliff Kingsbury is now the coach there. And it'll be interesting to see if they do go defense with that number 1 pick or get him some other piece of the puzzle that he wants to play with, perhaps on the offensive side of the football, maybe a hot receiver or something like that. But Nick Bosa, as I wrote in the piece I did kind of previewing it, his most important thing is to ingratiate himself to the Arizona Cardinals. Prove to them that he is a quality human being and that he wants to be in Arizona and he wants to be the future of that franchise and be the J.J. Watt kind of influence on that franchise, or be the Nick Bosa or the Joey Bosa influence on that franchise. So that's important for him. One running back, Mike Weber, he left school early. I think most people look at him as a 5, 6, 7 round pick, probably just a third down back at this point in the NFL, but don't rule anything out. People have counted him out for years, and he had a great Rose Bowl. He left a tremendous impression, I think, on people by the way that he ended his career at the Rose Bowl with a big game running the ball out there. The 3 wide receivers, Parris Campbell, Terry McLaurin, Johnny Dixon. You hear Campbell may be the first one to go, maybe second, third round. McLaurin also in the mid rounds. Dixon, probably undrafted free agent or a late round pick. He's got knee issues that have kind of hampered him in his time at Ohio State. His biggest thing will be the MRI and explaining and having trainers explain to team personnel, no, he checks out fine. He'll be okay. There's no arthritis. There's no tendonitis. There's no whatever may be holding him back. Offensive line, Isaiah Prince. He played right tackle at OSU for 3 years. I think at times he was dominating. I think at times he wasn't. He had a lot of pre-snap penalties, jumping off sides or false starts, and did get beat for a few sacks here and there. So I think that, teams are going to be interested to get his explanation of how his career went at Ohio State. Michael Jordan played guard and center at Ohio State, and I think he's going to have a really bright NFL future. I felt he did an outstanding job at both positions. Maybe second round pick for him, maybe third round for Prince in that range. Dremont Jones over on defense, late first round, early second round, probably for him. And he left school a year early. Teams really keyed on him, and he felt double teams quite a bit once Nick Bosa was gone and out of the equation. They kind of shifted their blocking patterns to take care of Dremont Jones. He still made some game-changing plays throughout the season, and he's going to interview extremely well when he talks to NFL teams. He is going to really put the best foot forward. And the last guy, I think, is Kendall Sheffield, the cornerback. We honestly don't know a whole lot about him because he never really did any media interviews. So he's going to have to step out of his comfort zone when it comes time to sell himself to teams who are interested in knowing what makes him tick. And he's going to have more than one-word answers. He's going to need to smile and be gregarious and get that personality out there, which we never saw that out of Kendall Sheffield at Ohio State. Also, like Arnett, we talked about earlier, he had some issues with big plays and different things, but he is a really fast player. Wouldn't surprise me if he and Campbell, the wide receiver, are both sub 4.4. It is not known as a fast track in Indianapolis. I think if you run a 4.4 on that track, typically you have really accomplished something. I know Curtis Samuel ran a 4.31. I think Denzel Ward last year ran like a 4.32, and that's why those guys were taken so high in the draft, is because they displayed that speed. So if Campbell and Sheffield can get sub 4.4, it would help their stock immensely. I don't think Sheffield's probably any higher than a third-round pick right now, but maybe if he shows that speed and then teams say, well, we'll teach him how to play cover corner. He's never had, proper technique or whatever. We'll teach him how to do that. So I think I hit all 10 of them. Ohio State, year in and year out. I mean, to have 6 guys leaving early for the NFL draft, although Bosa, you kind of put a star by that. You lost him early in the season. Really only 5 guys that were there at the end of the season that you're missing. And Buckeyes, as we said, going into spring football, going to try and reload and come back stronger going for 2019.
Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, joined by Steve Hellwagon from Bucknuts. And Steve joining us from the depths of, do they still call it the Schottenstein Center?
It is I'm in the bowels of the Schottenstein Center. Value City Arena is the playing arena. This is the 21st glorious year of the Schottenstein Center. And I've been around so long, I covered the games at St. John Arena for about 10 years, going back to when I was a student in the late 80s. They played one game there this year, and it was magical. They played Cleveland State, and people loved it. This place, for a big game when they're playing Duke or Michigan State, when they brought in some, top 5 teams, 19,000 people strong, it gets pretty cool. But tonight with the weather, we've had snow and now some really heavy rain going on out there. I don't foresee more than about 8 or 9 or 10,000 people here tonight, with an 8:30 Eastern time start too on a weeknight, a school night. Kind of hard to bring your kids to this late game tonight, but that's where we're at in the bowels of the arena. And the Buckeyes hoping to stave off a 2-game losing streak and get back in the NCAA picture.
Yeah, Steve, you're taking us back to the days of Gary Williams and Randy Ayers with
Dennis Hobson and Jimmy Jackson. And,
yes. Trey Lee also. We could keep going and going. But, 2 losses in a row on the bubble at 6-8 in the Big Ten after a loss to Michigan State. Got to get going. All right, Steve, we appreciate you stopping by. Know that you need to run and get ready to cover the basketball game, but appreciate the football coverage.
All right, Mark. Take care.